the challenge of facing the Packers? How do you sort of size this thing up?
So I think it's a tough task just because the Packers on any given day can be a great team. But, I mean, it's been a year and a half now, I think, of us all waiting for the Packers to actually be a great team and actually play like an elite team as opposed to what they are, which is, probably closer to average team than a great team. They have a lot of talent, but they don't have a lot of production. Like, they have a good pass rush, but their pass rush isn't really top 10 in most categories. Their offense has Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur. I mean, they're injured, but their offense hasn't been that great this year either. So I think really the main challenge of facing the Packers is going to be, obviously, Micah Parsons. He's been pretty good against Jeff Stoutland's offensive lines throughout his career. And then I think on the other side of the ball, the Packers live by chunk plays down the field. That's how they move the ball. So if the Eagles can stop the chunk plays, tackle well, I think that they should be able to contain that offense.
Elliot, what do we know about our center with this knee, and how bad is it? How long should we expect him to be out, if at all? This really is troubling.
Yeah, I mean, I think you feel better about it now after how Brett Toth played in the last game. The Eagles' offensive linemen really think Brett Toth is a center and not a guard, so he has played center better when he's been out there as opposed to guard. So maybe at a more natural position, he will continue to play well. But obviously, Cam Jurgens is the best center on the roster, and you want to get him back out there. Being at practice yesterday, he obviously was not out there. He was not in the locker room, which is also normally a sign of like how banged up a player is. So yeah, I would be surprised at this point if Cam Jurgens plays on Monday against the Packers, and then it's a short week to the Lions game. Now, if he doesn't play, it won't be a short week for him, but in terms of practice and stuff. So,
do we know what it is?
Knee? I don't have any further detail on what type of knee injury it is, no.
Wow.
Elliot, the other starting corner is going to be who in the short term?
I think it's going to be Keeley. Keeley played better, I thought, the last two games. If you just look at, his targets and yards allowed, he was much better in the final two games than he was, previously. Now, he played Carson Wentz and Jackson Dart, so, it's not like he was going up against the class of the NFL. But, I think it'll be Keeley. Now, Adoree was, I believe, a limited participant in practice yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So he's, working his way back from that concussion. So I think it will be one of them, but my guess would be Keeley.
Jihad Campbell, how do they plan to use him in the second half comparative to the first?
I think he's going to be used a lot like he was in these last two games and really that final game. I think Nakobe is going to be the linebacker. It's just a matter of if there's certain packages where Jihad is the main linebacker, but Nakobe's been awesome for this defense. He's been really good against the run. I think he brings a toughness out there on the field that I won't say they were completely lacking, but it definitely he's added to it since he's been out there. Now, the tough thing for Jihad is they suddenly have a ton of edge rushers, right? You look at Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Brandon Graham, Josh Uche. You could argue all of them should play over Jihad Campbell. And I don't think the plan when they drafted Jihad was for him to be the backup linebacker in the sixth edge. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get him on the field. I'd imagine different blitz scenarios and stuff like that, but I think Nakobe's going to play quite a bit the second half.
Elliot, who's going to get cut? I mean, I haven't heard of anyone being cut yet. They've added all these players. Who's going to get cut?
Yeah, so, I mean, A.J. Dillon, I would keep an eye out for. He's someone that really hasn't played that well this year. Not really a big special teams contributor. So he's someone that I think could go. They have a lot of defensive linemen. Byron Young, potentially a name to keep an eye out for. Now, they're not super deep at defensive tackle. They're more deep at edge. But he's someone to keep an eye out for. They put Azeez Ojulari on IR, which is, kind of essentially cutting him. I think he might have been cut otherwise. So, yeah, I would look at those two guys in terms of being cut.
How much should we expect to see Michael Carter and Jair Alexander on Monday night out there on the field at Lambeau?
I'd be pretty surprised if Jair Alexander played, just because I do think they will start Keeley or Adoree just because they've been here all year. Michael Carter could be interesting. I mean, he's someone in maybe certain packages you get out there because Jair is more of just an outside guy. I don't think you'll see them get too creative with how they use him. So Michael Carter probably is closer to playing on Monday night, but I don't think either of them will get, like, significant snaps.
Eliot, I was, in a word, underwhelmed with AJ's answers yesterday about being here. I mean, on one hand, you're hearing Jalen Phillips just through the moon excited with being an Eagle, and then AJ's asked yesterday, and he just still doesn't sound happy to me. Did you interpret it that way?
No, I didn't. So just being there, like, the mood was very light. He was smiling. He was laughing. Him and Devontae were joking around. So I do agree the words themselves, like, having been there and then reading people tweet it afterwards, the words do come across worse, I think.
If you watch the video, he's fine.
Let's play the audio. Yeah. Eliot, I want to play the audio. James, we got that back there. Let's listen to AJ, and then Eliot, who was right there on the scene, can give us more context. Here's AJ Brown yesterday.
So what have these last 2 weeks been like for you? I feel like there's been a lot going on between the injury, some trade speculation, or at least talk about it. Just what's it been like for you the past 2 weeks?
Out in the front and out in the back of my yard, playing football with my son. That's it.
Did you ever feel like there was a chance you would be traded?
I don't know. I think it's the nature of the business. But like I said, my focus was be present with my family, my kids, and get healthy.
Speaking of getting healthy, how are you feeling? Do you think you're trending the right direction for Monday?
I'm playing. I'm good to go.
Is this the place you want to be?
Yeah, well, has I said anything to not be here or something like that? Yeah.
Gotta ask the question.
Yeah.
Well, Eliot, he hasn't said anything, but he's certainly put enough on Twitter that makes you wonder. I mean, I heard that, and again, someone's going to say, oh, Joe, you're just making stuff up. I'm just telling you my interpretation. I heard that, and I heard a guy, I think, that probably wanted to get traded and wasn't. That's how I heard it. Now, am I wrong, Eliot?
So I do think it was a bit disingenuous of him to be like, well, I haven't said I don't want to be here. Like, yeah, I get that. But, like, for weeks and months pretty much, everyone's been saying you don't want to be here, and it's not like he's been a full court press to prove that he wants to.
Does he want to be here?
That's the $1 million question. Like, the best answer I can give for that is I think AJ really likes playing for the Eagles. I think AJ likes living in the area. I think AJ likes his teammates. I think he enjoys the fans. I just think he's frustrated that the passing game at times, and large majority of times, is probably not what he thinks it could be in terms of involving him. Like, I think that's it. Like, I don't think there's other things that make him unhappy. So I think he probably, if he was forced to decide, I think he would decide to stay here, but I can't say like 100%.
Are we going to run the ball more against this Green Bay defense that I think they're 19th stopping the run, and of course Micah Parsons is one of the best pass rushers in all of football.
Yeah.
How do you expect we're going to attack this group?
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they come out, because if you look at how this team has done after the bye traditionally under Nick, like, there's normally pretty big changes or at least adjustments to things they've struggled with, and they basically just win all the time. If you look from week 10 and on in 2021, since 2021, they're like 25-8 or something after week 10. And if you take out the collapse, they're 21-4. So they basically just always win. So in terms of, like, will they run the ball? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they came out and ran the ball effectively. Green Bay is not great against the run. I think the best way to, neutralize a really good pass rusher is to not let him rush the pass by running the ball. So, but that being said, like, their secondary is not great either.
We've made him the focus of the option in the past when he was down in Dallas, and it worked so well in our advantage. I can't imagine we just abandoned that idea.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, I will say the perception is that Jeff Stoutland's done a great job against Micah Parsons. He has like 5 sacks in 8 games or something like that. So, like, Micah has still been effective, but I agree. I think you could see them come out and try to run the ball.